Good evening. I'd like to call this regular meeting of council to order at 7:02 p.m. We'll stay seated for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. I get a mover and a seconder that July 5th, 2022 Mayor's Address be accepted as presented, moved by Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Robinson. During the month of June, I attended 13 meetings on municipal and county business. At the Shaw Woods Outdoor Education Center meeting on June 23rd, 2022, the board indicated that the center has been extremely busy with visits from the schools and the public. School boards have all renewed their funding commitments for another 3 years and will be providing a summer program 1 day a week during July and August. In addition, the board is looking at hiring additional teachers to accommodate more student visits during the regular school year. As a result of the increased traffic, the board has partnered with Algona Wilberforce and is moving forward with an expansion of the parking lot to alleviate parking congestion and safety concerns along Bulger Road. County of Renfrew has passed a bylaw to establish a community safety zone on the section of Bulger Road in front of the center. On behalf of council and myself, I want to extend thanks to the Lake Dory Property Owners Association for hosting the Canada Day breakfast at Melissa Bishop Park. It was estimated that 200 people attended. Despite the early morning rain, the skies cleared and the Canada Day activities were able to continue outdoors. Special thanks as well to Special Projects Coordinator Cameron Montgomery and Jennifer Ross, Student Recreation Coordinator, for the organization of a very successful Canada Day celebration. It was wonderful to see so many families and children gathered together and enjoying the various activities. It was with great anticipation that the first North Algona Wilberforce newsletter was launched last week. The content, graphics, and advertising were excellent, and the feedback from residents has been positive. Thanks again to Jennifer and Cameron. At the June 29th, 2022 meeting of County Council, Craig Kelly was appointed the new CAO effective August 31st, 2022. Mr. Kelly brings a wealth of experience from his previous role as the Director of Property Development and former CAO of the municipality of Madawaska Valley. I also want to thank all staff for the work that is ongoing or has been completed to date. I hope everyone has the opportunity to take some time off and spend some time with family and friends this summer. That is my mayor's address. Councillor Buckholt. To approve.
Yes.
Councillor Burke.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld.
Yes.
Yes. Very, thank you.
Well, was nice.
Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Being none, then we'll move to the adoption of the minutes for June 21st, 2022, the regular meeting minutes, June 21st, 2022, the special meeting minutes, and June 27th, 2022, special council minutes. Could I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Byrne, seconded by Councillor Buckle. Are there any additions, corrections, or omissions? Councillor Byrne.
Page 16.3 on the Marcus Road.
On the resolution, my name is listed as not this.
Can we bring the minutes up?
That is that again now.
The record. Yeah. 16.3.
So, we can approve the minutes as corrected, as amended, okay? Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Ricky Junko.
Yes.
And yes, carried. Thank you. We have no notifications, so we'll move on to reports. Item 7.1 is the development agreement. I have a motion that council enters into a development agreement with Kirby Punt, which is a condition of consent application B93/21. And I'm gonna move in a second. Moved by Councilor Buckle, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments or questions? Seeing none, Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Ricky Junko,
Yes.
and a yes. Carried. Thank you. Item 7.2 is the township outdoor facility use policy. I have a motion that council directs staff to draft usage agreements for outdoor municipal recreation amenities to address increased demand, and that a special council meeting be scheduled in July for council review and approval. And I got a mover and a second, moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments or questions? I think this is a good idea, and I think it's very timely, because once we do the renovations at West Bishop's Park, and in particular expanding the size of the gazebo, having that one, get more requests for people wanting to rent the space for family gatherings or something. So I'll call the question. Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Ricky Junko.
Yes.
Yes, that's carried. Thank you. Item 7.3 is the action item list. I have a motion that council accepts the action item list report as information. Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Buckle. Comments or questions? Seeing none, Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Ricky Junko.
Yes.
Yes, carried. Thank you. Item 7.4 is the public works update. I have a motion that council accepts the public works report as information. I got to move it a second. Moved by Councilor Buckle, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments, questions? Councilor Buckle?
Just a question, I guess it goes to the Deacon boat launch. Do we actually have any garbage facilities out there other than what would be inside the washrooms?
I'll ask Michelle to answer that, because I had that question as well.
So there is a few garbage cans that we, at the Deacon Boat Launch. Now they are they are by the washroom, so there's none down by the river.
Okay, but there are ones like, other than just one inside.
Yes, there's waste center.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
Yeah.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schmuckel,
Yes.
and yes, very good. So moving on to the non-action items, 9.1, I have a motion that council accepts correspondence items 9.1.1 and 9.1.3 as information. And I'm going to move in a second, moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Buckle. Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Reggie,
Yes.
and that's carried. Yep. Item 9.1.2 is the County of Renfrew Development and Property Committee. I have a motion that this resolution be considered as confirmation that Algona Wilberforce Township is willing to enter into an agreement with ESRI to participate in the small local government enterprise license agreement under the County of Renfrew's umbrella license. I got it over in a second, moved by Councilor Buckle, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments or questions? Councilor Buckle.
So that's for the GIS mapping that the staff can access.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, that's very valuable resource to this problem.
Just, Michelle, can you just give a little background that we are currently part of that, but with the county's new direction now?
So yes, we are currently part of county. They currently pay approximately, I believe it's $600 a year in license agreements for municipality. And so those fees will go towards the cost for the general license for the county.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Burke,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schmuckel.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Carried, thank you. So moving on to bylaws. I have a motion now therefore the Council of North Algona Wilberforce enact the following bylaws. Bylaw 2022-38, being a bylaw to enter into a development agreement, Schedule A, bylaw 2022-38. Bylaw 2022-39 is the shoreline closure for ZAR, and 2022-40 is the agreement with ZAR. Could I get a move in a second? Moved by Councilor Buckle, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
Yeah.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Reggie Schmuckel,
Yes.
and yes, it's carried. Thank you. Matters of urgency, and I believe that we do have one, and I'll just read the motion that council approves the Golden Lake Municipal Complex as a location for the Tourist Information Center. I'm going to second it, and then I'll ask the report be brought up, moved by Councilor Burke, seconded by Councilor Robinson. And we then bring up the report. Any questions or comments? Councilor Robinson?
I guess exactly where would the um information center be? And if people are going to be coming in, where would they go to watch it?
So I believe staff has pictures. of
Yes.
the site.
So the additional information on the report. Office. This is the list official part. So one option would be to, locate the tourist information center by the main official park sign. And you would have space for two parking. Spaces here, by the ball diamond. That's one option. And second option is the League Center area. So there's two options here. One would be to put it in this approximate location. Second option would be we are doing some work at the moment community center. So one possibility is to add it on to the current building by the walkways. Either in this area or as an addition to the community center.
Councilor Buckwell?
You have to watch either of those two areas, because that's where the septic system is. In that large space, like, I don't know that you'd be able to put it in the first section that you pointed out when more is open. It might be better to go along, like I say, as an extension of the washroom, like put a vestibule there, or they cover the walkway and then expand it into a small. Are you looking at it enclosed, like visitor booth or just information racks?
Information racks.
Would it be covered over, would it be like a roof over some of the
Yeah.
other kiosks?
It would be approximately 10 by 11 structure. That would be open and would have for information cards.
Councilor Reddish?
In Golden Lake, you might have a higher presence just because it's like a major kind of thoroughfare as opposed to most of Bishop Park. I guess and so that's one thought. The other thing too is like, is one place going to be cheaper to build it than the other? Because in Golden Lake, maybe you could tap into the water and washrooms there. The only thing at Golden Lake I find is that they have all of the handicap parking, so there's not a lot of parking, especially during the day because of the portions. Where most of Bishop Park would be less congestion, but maybe it's easy for people to see it. Yes. But there are a lot of people that do use the beach, so with the general locals, as opposed to the other one would be more business.
Councilor Buckwell?
I think, again, because you have the washroom already in go that location, so it wouldn't be hard to extend structure. We do get more traffic there, especially people stopping at businesses across the street, which are other people. But at the same time, when you do have people going to most of Bishop Park, they it would be an opportunity for them to learn more about the township with the road.
Mhm.
Shopping through whether it's for, again, it could be, if you're gonna go local, you'd be surprised people don't do local. At Melissa Bishop Park, would you be able to put something, an extension on the washroom / canteen building? You'd be able to incorporate that and have a credit parking lot and not have to go separate structure outside of the ball field. I don't know how much space there is now with the new accessibility parking spots there and the accessibility map down the beach. I don't know if it's room there or not. Because it could be incorporated into the expansion that we're looking at for the gazebo. That might be an option. That may cut down our costs. We put the two together.
But the thing is, we have the 100% grant funding for this, so. That's right, so once more.
I like the co-location of Golden Lake, and there is already public options right here. And they're open all summer. And it is a big traffic tourist area right there.
Councilor Robinson?
Well, I think one of the things you're looking for is to make sure that it's visible. While Melissa Bishop seems to make sense because there's a space there, I don't think a lot of people will see it. Golden Lake has the traffic going both ways. And, you know, I know some of the businesses were always complaining not having, like people going into their place for washrooms and things like that. So this, I think, would address both of them. For visibility, people will have a reason to stop on that 60 corridor.
One of my thoughts and talking to staff about it would depend on MTO setbacks, et cetera, was to put it beside the fire hall in that space there. Because beside the washrooms is good for washroom facilities, but it's tucked behind the community center, and you don't necessarily see it the same way you would if it was closer to the highway.
That's easily addressed with signage. Because again, we're still waiting for word from MTO about the electronics sign. So I don't know if that's dead in the water now that we've attached to the building, but if we're still looking for a sign, we literally have a sign that says the permission to draw them in. Because again, you put it too close to the fire building, you're dealing with septic system again, and the air conditioning meters inside the generator, so you don't have a lot of space there. I like the location right over there in Washington, because again, it's right active parking spots.
Councilor Rick, jump on?
I think Golden Lake is, you can have it like being like 10 months of the year, because people are going there all the time, as opposed to Melissa Bishop Park. And I like the idea, we don't have to buy the washrooms and 16, but Melissa Bishop Park doesn't have the same visibility once.
No.
It would be nice to put something there for information. Even if it's on electric steel. Again, five of the parking spots are by over the can't do that is, so that people would stop there every time. We should take every opportunity to the local kind of one on.
Yes, I guess Michelle first.
Oh, sorry. And just to address that, as part of one of our local trail grant, a kiosk will be installed at Melissa Bishop Park. A smaller version with an.
Okay, so we'll have something for both locations.
Yeah.
If we choose to hold it.
Yes.
Should I in mind?
Okay, Councilor.
I was just gonna say that the one I did point out in there, those is that one beside the fire hall there, but you might have covered with people parking in front of the fire hall now. Because already there's people stopping there already sometimes.
A lot of people pull off there and park in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right in front of the lot, like they're usually they're in the vehicles, but again, they're checking their phones or.
The 2 weeks ago, apparently we get one of the mobile ones right in front of the fire hall. Because they bought the two doors from the pipe. And it's clearly right there, that stuff. And if people don't see that stuff when they move to the area, like the old firewall and things like that.
So it looks like, or it sounds like we're in agreement to, put it at, Golden Lake and close to the washrooms. Council Buckle,
Yes.
Council Burns,
Yes,
Council Robinson,
Yes.
Council Reddish on call.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Item number 12 is a notice of motion. I have a motion whereas the Township of North Algona Wilberforce has adopted a strategic plan, and whereas the strategic plan provides the township with a roadmap to align our activities, goals, and our fundamental township's character. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Township of North Algona Wilberforce should include the new heading titled Strategic Plan in all reports presented to council by the township staff. And I move in a second, moved by Councilor Redmond, seconded by Councilor Buckle. Comments, questions? Councilor Buckle?
I think that it's a good idea, not only to make sure that we're actually doing things that are part of the strategic plan, but to let the public know that we're doing these part of the strategic plan so that they understand. And then the other kind, it's not just something sitting on the shelf, we're actually following it and we're actually using it. So I think that's a good idea.
Any other comments? Seeing none, oh, sorry, Councilor.
I guess the question would be, is how is it going to impact?
Michelle?
So staff will amend our report template to add an additional heading, called strategic plan. And, we will, we'll use the county and records, process that they use in our template. The county record does is they have a number for action items, and on each report, they include one of those action items. So we will utilize the system.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
yes,
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Redmond.
Yes.
Yes. Item 14.1 is the Strategic Planning and Coordination Committee. I have motion that staff be directed to advertise seeking applications for appointment to the Special Projects Coordinating Committee, and further that the mandate and structure be adopted as directed by the council. And I'm going to move in a second, and moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Burke. Comments, questions? Seeing none, Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
yes,
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Redmond.
Yes.
Yes, very good. Item 14.2 is the fire apparatus procurement. We have a motion of council accepts the report as presented and provide a maximum budget value so that staff may make the determination of which vehicle best meets the fire department's operational needs. And further that the purchase be financed over 10 years. Did I move in a second? Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Burns. And I'm pleased that we have the fire chief with us tonight, so if that has any questions, I'm sure willing to answer them. Can we bring up the report? Oh, Chief Chaplain, you want to speak to the information? And I'm very, very pleased with the amount of work and research that we've done. I have my information.
My team has put a lot of work into it. We get back and forth. Everybody's aware that we put out an invitation tender. Got one response that was not approved, not accepted, so we put that aside. We've gone out and obtained information on 3 stock apparatus. There's only 2 mentioned right there. The third one, we got the information yesterday afternoon. So that will be the Arch Fire E1. Basically, it's a quite a large range in price.
Yeah, it certainly has.
From the 432 approximately plus HST all the way up to 575 for the E1. Now, we have budgetary pricing, but we give you an idea of where we're at.
So do you have a Darch price?
Yes, that's 575.
Oh, the 575, okay, thank you.
Dependable, we had 493. The Healy 432. The Healy and these, first of all, these 3 vehicles were out of all the companies we contacted that came back with a product that we actually couldn't haul. We gave them a hard overall length limit of 30 feet, and these are the only 3 that met that. Commercial Pierce one was over length, and several of the others didn't bother to get back to us. Of the 3, my personal belief is that the dependable Banco model is the best fit for us. As best of our features. But it all depends on how much money you've been. Either of those 2 vehicles, the EV or the dependable, we can make work. But give it an option. Dependable, we want.
Comments, questions? Council Bucknell?
Chief, just on the Healy vessel, the one we have photograph. What's the storage like on the other side?
4. That's one of the features that are not ideal for that vehicle. The equipment storage for hoses and equipment is very limited. Basically, you have enough room to put the pump and with a small compartment on the other side, and that's it.
So I'm assuming the pump is on the other side.
That is correct.
So it's in that thing, like probably half 2/3 of that space.
Oh, at least. Yes.
That's a big extra.
It's not ideal by any stretch. But that's why the price is what it is.
Right. And what was our original budget?
Originally, when we first started this operation, we came back with an estimated number of 440. Maybe that was. No, this is before the world got crazy.
That's right. Council Bucknell?
So the angle is a little above that, but not much.
No. Actually, looks at approximately 493,000 plus 50, which is less than the original response to the tender application.
And is it their vehicle that they provide the $5,000 credit?
That is correct, yes. For, items from their storefront. Now, both of those vehicles would require a down payment,
Right.
whereas the other one not.
Council Byrne?
Just a question from Michelle. How much money did you put in the fire reserve for having Michelle?
So 50,000, so, we put in 50,000 last year and 50,000 this year, so We would have 100,000 towards the Chaffee pavement. And the original 75,000, one option would be to use reserves to pay for this.
That has to pay for it, at 175 when you order the truck over there.
Yes, does, yeah.
And that particular vehicle is probably one of the quicker to be delivered, well, that's not an essential factor for us. Will be done in the next fiscal year.
Councillor Buckmore.
I would be leaning towards the dependable vehicle. It is a little more than the original plan for, but it's definitely doesn't. What's impressing me is the fact that like it's already warming up, so that's a reasonable delivery date. Because the truck it's replacing is not friendly.
Keep in mind that all the vehicles that are listed here are subject to sale. To somebody else, so we may turn around and they say, sorry, it's not.
So if we make a decision tonight, then you would contact the supplier and.
Yes.
Councillor Buckmore.
So just a procedural question. So we did close off the original tender as not accepted.
We did not award the original.
We didn't award it.
Retained tender.
So procedurally, we can do this within our purchasing bylaw without any issues.
So you would have to amend the resolution to include a line that council approves the single sourcing of the fire. And that would be our bylaw, our bylaw there.
And the reasons would be the early delivery date and the fact that it's a stock truck that we don't have to wait 2+ years to get the vehicle.
Yes. Most of any kind of new build is going to be between 500 and 600 days from the signing of the agreement. This one just happens to be partway through the build.
And you're satisfied with the special that will be suitable and not too many trade-offs for students?
No, I believe it's. Is it everything in it we could possibly hope for? No, but. That'd be reasonable.
I just don't want to see us in the same boat as we were with
Yes.
another previous purchase.
Yes. Yeah. The high horsepower engine. So they're up to speed. I don't need drivers driving.
Do we have to amend this resolution? No, or you're already on
I
that?
think that's kind of, yes.
Yeah.
Just a question, so the financing is going to be starting when?
Finance,
Yes, go ahead, Michelle.
the finance won't start until we take possession of the truck and keep the balance.
And what?
And keep the balance outstanding.
That would be sometime after what the fish I had, sometime after March of next year.
Councillor Bird.
So we have to put the down payment down when the truck is ordered, we won't, we'll still finance the full amount, or is that 175 and off?
Michelle.
The 175 will look off the total purchase price and we look at finance your name at delivery.
So we have 100,000 in reserves, the 75, you said we could take out of reserves?
Yeah.
Okay,
So, yes, so last year we put 150,000 into reserve and then 50,000 in budget for this year. And so we would require another 75 from reserves. So, recommendation, accept the report as presented and approve the single source purchasing of the tanker truck and further provides direction to staff to purchase the dependable vehicle. And further the purchase will be financed over time.
is it possible to get that scheduled? Please. That's the one we have.
The picture.
All drawings.
Get it rolled down. I understand.
Did we finance that on 5 years? The savings are 46,000.
Yeah, we figured we could. Michelle? That was a great suggestion that maybe we finance for 5 years instead. Council is okay with that, because we would only be financing,
Roughly 300.
300, so more than 200. Yes?
Unfortunately. Because you're gonna be saving, significant savings.
Yes.
That's not going to be, I'm sorry.
It's not hard, I know, because I know it's not very become. So sooner we can dissipate on that perspective. And because we're not paying for much.
Council, can agree for 5 years?
Yes. So the resolution is that council accepts the report presented and approves the single source purchasing of the dependable backhoe tanker truck, and 75,000 for the chassis payment will come from reserves, and further that the purchase be financed over 5 years. So To be, mover and seconder, Council Robinson and Council Byrne, are you okay with the amended, resolution?
It should be 175,
No, because we have 100,000.
Oh, right,
already. Council Robinson.
Yes.
Okay, any further comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Councillor Buckland,
Yes.
Councillor Byrne,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Atkinson,
Yes.
yes. Councillor Carter. That brings us to item 15, council. I have a motion of council going to close session pursuant to section 239 2D of the Municipal Act. 1, labor relations or employment negotiations, 1 personal matter about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. And I've got a mover and second, moved by Councilor Buckland, seconded by Councilor Bloom. We'll be going into closed at 7:49 p.m. So item 16, human resources.
Yeah, I was just changing screens.
So I have a motion on council direct staff to proceed as directed in closed session. Moved by Councilor Buckland, seconded by Councilor Byrne. Councilor Buckland,
Yes.
Councilor Byrne,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Atkinson,
Yes.
and yes, carried. Thank you. I have a motion that communications committee recommends that council send the amended response letters as reviewed in closed session. Moved by Councilor Buckland, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor Buckland,
Yes.
Councilor Byrne,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Atkinson,
Yes.
and yes, carried. Thank you. Item 17 is our confirmatory bylaw. We have a bylaw that 2022-41, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council for July 5th, 2022. Be read a first and second time this 5th day of July 2022. We go over in seconder, moved by Councilor Byrne, seconded by Councilor Buckland. Read a third time and finally passed this 5th day of July 2022. Councilor Buckland,
Yes.
Councilor Byrne,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Atkinson,
Yes.
and yes, it's carried. Okay. And the team is adjourned. Under the motion of this July 5th, 2022 regular meeting of council adjourns at 8:12 p.m. Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Buckland. Councilor Buckland,
Yes.
Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Atkinson. Yes. Yes. You all very much.